Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV. Do make sure that you are subscribed and also do like the video. So, finally, you guys, this Sunday, I get to watch this documentary that everybody has been going on about, Beauty and the Bester. Okay, so listen, this is not the first documentary that is about the Thabo Bester Nandipha Makutumana situation, but I think that the difference with this documentary that we are getting this time is that I think they were trying to focus more on Nandipha. And also, I think they are just trying to tell us maybe the side of the story that we didn't get with the first documentary, and also that maybe we didn't get to hear about from the news reports. It is a good thing, you guys, that before I watched the documentary, I had watched other people talk about the documentary because people were going on about how bad the documentary is. So I expected the worst, and I honestly had, a pleasant surprise. However, you guys, I am a lover of documentaries. I watch documentaries too and like just entertain myself. I'll watch stories about people dying and cry about the strangers that I don't know about. Okay, so I do love documentaries. I haven't really felt what people said they felt about this documentary because people said that it's the most boring documentary. It was such a waste of time and all of that. I've only watched one episode and I can't wait to watch the next episode, and I'm actually going to do that right now. But before we do that, you guys, one of the people that participates in this documentary, it is Thabo Besters' mom, okay? And you guys, what happened to Thabo Besters' mom? Because in the last documentary, or when we saw her on the news during the whole arrest, Thabo Bester, she was not looking like this back then. So I'm wondering, did she have an accident? Why ebusweni ukrimo ngoba phela umama babuye bakrime? Is it just poverty? Ukuthi sometimes when you don't have izinto zokuthi ugeze kahle, ugcobe, ube muhle. I'm just wondering what happened to this woman. Anyway, you guys, another thing is, how is Thabo Besters' mom still living in poverty when she is doing her second documentary? Okay? Like build this woman a two-room house or something and put furniture on it instead of just making her sit and make you money through these documentaries when you are making money from them and she's sitting in poverty. Are they even paying this woman to do these documentaries? So I don't understand how she is still the poor of the poorest, okay? Like, no, okay? She should at least have a home, ebukekayo, after she's doing her second documentary. I don't get it, okay? Now, you guys, we all know from the stories that were reported and all of that Thabo Bester never really had a good relationship with his mom. His mom does tell a story of how Thabo Bester was the result of an R. Okay, that already complicates a relationship between a child and a mother when they are born under those circumstances because they are basically born as part of trauma, okay? And every time a mother is looking at the child, they are reminded of that traumatic experience that they went through. Not only did they deal with an R, they did with the pregnancy after an R, and then they dealt with the child after an R. That is a lot to deal with. Not to say, you guys, that it justifies a mother not being a good mom if they're not a good mom. Not to say that it justifies them not really taking responsibility for their child if they are supposed to. But you can kind of understand how maybe their relationship was never really that good. It feels like Thabo Besters' mom had her own childhood traumas that she was dealing with. And then the next thing, she had this big trauma that she was dealing with after the R. And then she gave birth to a child that she wasn't capable of taking care of, not only financially, emotionally, and otherwise. She was just in no place to raise a child. So it kind of feels like, okay, maybe not all children that are born under the situation will be psychopaths, but it is kind of understandable why a child would end up being a psychopath after being born in that situation. Also, you guys, when you look at Thabo Besters' mom, you actually realize, Uguti, that was the reason maybe Thabo Bester worked so hard to never ever have to struggle. Okay, maybe that's why he was like, listen, even if I'm not able to go to school and study so that I can make something of myself, whether I do that or not, I'm not going to live in poverty. If I have to take other people's money, if I have to scam people, if I have to pay people, I will do it, but I'm never going back to poverty because it really looks like, he grew up in really bad conditions. That's why he tried to take himself out of the situation. So was it right for him to do that? Absolutely the hell not. But it looks like it gives us that explanation, you guys. It is interesting, you guys, when I watched this documentary, because when the news broke about Thabo Besters escaping from prison, who he was with, and then Nandipha Makotomana, and who Nandipha Makotomana was, it's amazing that on this documentary, they actually found people that were willing to talk to, the producers of this documentary and actually admit that they were Nandipha Makotomana's friends. I'm like, what do you know? Okay, because back then when the story broke, nobody wanted to be associated with Nandipha. It was like Nandipha had no friends. Okay, people would be like, no, but we saw a post with you. No, I'm just a client. It was just that day. I just went to do whatever. I just went to Dr. Nandipha for her to just take out a pimple. After that, I never ever saw Dr. I don't know who Dr. Nandipha. Listen, nobody wanted to be Nandipha Makotomana's friend back then, okay? Some people even came out to deny, even when there were pictures and posts and everything about how they were Nandipha's friends. The celebrities were like, absolutely the hell not. I don't know who Thabo Besters is. I might know TK, but I don't know Thabo Besters. I don't know Nandipha. It's just one picture, okay? We were just at one event and we took a picture together, and then you guys, here it is, but I'm not. Now, when it's time to make money with a documentary, what do you know? Okay, there are people that are out here saying, listen, Nandipha was my friend. This is how Nandipha was such a sweet soul. I'm like, Nandipha had friends. Nandipha had friends. I'm a celebrity in South Africa. I'm telling you, we live in a comedy show. I'm like, where the hell do these friends come from? All of a sudden, now they know everything that was happening. Now they are able to give us a background story, but we have been waiting for them to do that. Okay, when we wanted them to do it back then, when Nandipha, was missing with Thabo Besters, they were supposed to come and say, listen, possibly they went to this place. None of them came out. All of them are saying, no, I'm not. Was I not shocked, you guys? Another thing, you guys, that I think is really good about this documentary is that finally they got to talk to Nandipha's father. They got to talk to Nandipha's mother. And I mean, we've heard from so many interviews from Nandipha's brother, you guys. So that is not new, but it's definitely new for us to hear from the father. It's definitely new for us to hear from the mother. So this is what I will say, you guys. If you don't want to watch the documentary because people have been saying that it's really, really bad, I don't blame you, because I'm going to come back here and give you just an idea of what they are doing over there in episode 2 and episode 3. However, you guys, I would say that documentary is not as bad as people might be saying, because I had already heard that it was bad. So I am kind of enjoying it. Here is a story, though, you guys, that I feel like was not told well. It's a Pearl Thusi story. I think that people expected that Pearl was going to tell a more specific story, okay? In case Pearl comes across this video, let me tell Pearl how you tell a story, okay? So one day I see these adverts where they were saying they're looking for a presenter, and I called this guy to say I'm interested in a job. I can hambe. Mangifika laphayana. This guy had to know, so I get in the car. So mangimbuka this guy, cute and everything, and we are driving, and he says we are going to the place. I ask him, where are we going? And he says we're going to this place. And then he's like, no, don't worry about it. I will give you the directions, okay? So we're driving and he's giving me directions and we're talking in the car and everything. When we get to this place, now I realize that we've reached a dead end, okay? And then I ask him, how wow, what are we doing here? You know, Thabo Besters. Okay, he wasn't Thabo Besters then. What are we doing here, Thabo Besters? And he's telling me a story that I don't understand. After that, he pulls a knife, and then when he pulls the knife, I try to grab it, and then whatever. And then he did this and this and that. You know, like you specific, like he stabbed me or something. Like you said that, okay, he stabbed me, or, you know, maybe he hurt me, okay? But you tell us what happened. This is how we tell a story. After that, I was like, you know what? Let me preach to the guy. Then I preached and preached to him. I opened the Bible. I preached and preached to him. Then you guys, and then the police came, and then they took the guy, and I was like, oh, thank God. That's how you tell the story. You don't tell a story like, so it was about a presenting job. And then after the presenting job, you know, I went there and I was going to be auditioned in the car. The next thing, we're driving with this guy, and then we end up in a dead end, okay? And then the next thing, he pulled a knife. And then I gave him the Bible. And then he was at the back of the police van. God can just protect you. God can just protect you. What the hell are you doing at a documentary if you're not ready to tell the story of what happened between you and Thabo Besters? I cannot take it. I'm like, so what happened? Did he hurt you? Did he molest you? Did he take your wallet? Did he take your phone? I still don't know what happened to Pearl, but Pearl is at a documentary telling us the story, but I still don't know what happened to Pearl. I just know that there was a car, they drove, a dead end, a knife, and she gave him the Bible. I'm like, Pearl, where the hell are you going? Where did you get the Bible? Where did you get the Bible? That story don't make no sense, okay? She's just not a good storyteller, okay? Or the editors are just horrible with that part of the story. I'm sorry, okay? I still don't know what Thabo Besters did to Pearl, but Pearl just told us the story on a documentary. These people, okay. Anyway, you guys, I'm still watching, so I'll come back and tell you more. But I'm saying, for the lovers of documentaries, it's not the worst documentary, okay? Okay, and I'm enjoying it. I'm about to watch the next episode. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers in Tanda.